love and drugs are one big pillow. Taking substances or like poisonous like alcohol or other substances is a certain way of like making you feel good. You're looking for something that makes you feel better, that you can lean on, that you can basically just have a, a certain good feeling. And the pillow is a representation of that. Each Poison a Pillow, the body of work started like 2 years ago. And the main project is actually on alcohol, like female alcohol or alcohol and women. But it has a very personal approach. But I tried to actually also involve this like collective view on it. And I was growing up with an alcoholic mother. So for me, deciding on actually doing this work, it took a while because I have never really done something that has such a personal approach as well. So in the 3 videos, you see a collection of, or a compilation of videos that I found under the hashtag Drunk Girls, Drunk Women. Kind of like having also this fun effect of like being drunk. I also sometimes saw myself in the videos. Like I'm drinking actually myself as well, and I have been drunk as well. And so it was always a bit also this edge of like, okay, when does alcoholism start and when is it just for the fun? Since my mother being an alcoholic, where is this edge of like me maybe having the risk of being an alcoholic or getting to be an alcoholic as well? Images you see on the wall, there are actually screenshots taken out of the videos, but then fully repainted new, like digitally painted and printed on ink. It starts to get like a very kind of almost like romantic touch on the actual very cruel videos. The fabric was also a bit the reference of this like falling and like being drunk, falling around, losing control. It's a collage of mostly social media content and also research material. It's quotes that basically are places where I used to find the alcohol of my mother. You know, if you're living with an alcoholic, that you don't really have, like, you can't tell her like stop drinking. But what my main force was like trying to find the alcohol and pulling it out or pulling vinegar into it to having a revenge kind of. So I was basically the places that you see here is the places where I found the alcohol and was trying to search for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the corridor actually mostly involves the research material that you also see most of all in the book. This one is a screenshot. It's actually a booty call, like when someone writes you at night really drunk and tries to reach out to you and wants to see if you're still awake. Like the main story was me, myself, and my mother, but then it goes beyond that. It doesn't only go about my own family history. That's why also looking into research material, looking at to like basically the behavior of alcohol consumption in general and where do you face that. Here you have basically more the material that I found, and there's also this like as like also Liar, you have these advertisement that also, I think looking at women and alcohol, it influenced the way also maybe how we nowadays see women when they drink. There's always a certain, like, I think it's a comparison of like if you see man and alcohol or woman and alcohol. With women, I think there always comes a certain like pittiness to it. This basically has a certain different layers of the research that I was looking into. This is an advertisement that is used to actually sell alcohol to men. Most of the advertisements, they are not used to actually sell it to women. They're used to sell it to men. The man is the one that is the strong drinker and the heavy drinker, or not heavy drinker, but the drinker that is accepted in our society. When it comes to like trying to sell alcohol to women, it always has a bit like this girly cheekness and cute effect to it. It's like, oh, okay, like you have to be a very cute little girl to be a drinker. This is actually a text that I wrote that goes like this, so you could read it from beginning of this first pillow, going into second, and the third, and then starting here again. And it's a poem that I was writing a bit addressed to my mother. And also like having this in the corners is a bit the reference of like, you know, it's a protection of you falling. It's basically the eyes of my mother and myself. I mean, looking at someone's eyes, it's I think where you see that someone was drinking. That's also the idea of the eyes, but also I was always trying to put myself into her position, try to understand her situation, and that's also why you always see this the same blinking and the same expressions that I'm doing compared to her. And yeah, this is actually also my mother with her own images on her, basically the past and the present that comes together here. It's my mom that is holding apparently a flower. But I think it also represents a certain happiness and a certain actually, even though this topic has a really heavy, it's heavy content, I would say, but there is a certain, lightness also should come to the work. Not only talk about problematic effect, even though it is, but like some works, if you would see them themselves, you wouldn't even maybe think that it talks about alcoholism and women, so it takes you somewhere else. I basically started working on this project because I found this letter a few years back. I found it at my parents' place. It's a wish letter to the Christ child, or Santa as he would see it here. And it basically asks for the wish that my mother never ever is going to be drunk again. That was my only wish for Christmas. And when I found this letter, I was like, wow, okay, that's, of course, it's still present in my nowadays, but I'm not, I don't feel like it's a traumatic topic I have to talk about. But it still was very important to me to find it. The colors of the letter are filled with the colors in the glasses. I think a bit similar to the Drunk Girls videos, this kind of fun effect and this not so serious element to it that I actually also wanted to show. There's different layers of drinking. Like drinking is not only, going into one way. That also like this kind of like surreal element of these glasses and the colors in it, they also show this like, there's not an answer to it. And when I looked through our photo album or family album, I found a lot of images where my mom was basically shown with a bottle or a glass or drinking. This could also be like some other people's family album where people also drink. But then when you know actually the backstory of it, it gets you somewhere else. And the pillows, they have something very soft and nice. And then you see these images on it that are a bit irritating. And I think that's again like these two contrasts that come together here. And then again, these two hidden spots. It's the shoe closet or the laundry basket or the backpack. I had a conversation with her if she would be fine to actually include herself into the work and to be part of the work. She was actually really, really fine on it, and I think that's also the point why I started working on it, because she can talk about it very openly, and she's not an alcoholic where it's like, okay, I don't have a problem, I'm not drinking too much. I think there's different phases also of alcoholism where you're pretending you don't have a problem, but if you're facing it and you're dealing with it, then you're actually, I think that's a different level. You're starting a conversation, and she is really okay to talk about it. I think it's not only her struggle, it's a struggle that have a lot of people, but it isn't faced a lot. When are you a daughter and when are you a mother? So for example, the two images that you see in the corridor where you have these child images of me and my mother, like I had to take care of her sometimes, and then all of a sudden you don't feel like you're the daughter anymore. You're all of a sudden into the mother, even though I'm not her mother. Just having a kind of like a democratic, when does the daughter and mother relationship all of a sudden break? And I found this also sometimes irritating, but also interesting, and that's why I also had these two portraits part of it, because inside you're always a kind of child, and you need someone to take care of you. But when it's your own mother, it's of course a certain different topic.